Welcome to Mindset Mastery Moments, the podcast dedicated to helping you unlock your full potential through the power of mindset. Join Dr. Alisa Whyte, a transformative creator and multi-award-winning trailblazer, as she guides you on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. With a background in corporate leadership and workforce development, Dr. Alisa has dedicated her career to inspiring individuals to achieve their goals and dreams. Known as the #1 mindset disruptor, she firmly believes that the key to success lies within the mind. Dr. Whyte has witnessed the incredible impact a shift in mindset can have on one's life, career, and relationships. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just beginning your journey of self-discovery, you'll find valuable lessons, inspiring stories, and practical tools to elevate your life. In each episode, Dr. Alisa engages with thought leaders, coaches, and changemakers from around the globe, exploring their journeys and the mindsets that have propelled them to success. Get ready to reframe your perspective, embrace challenges, and cultivate the mindset necessary to achieve your dreams. Now let's dive into today's episode and discover how to master your mindset for a brighter, more fulfilling future.
Hello, disruptors, and welcome to another episode of Mindset Mastery Moments. Well, by the time you hear this, we are deep into season 2, and I am coming off of a 1-month sabbatical from recording. No, I didn't take a break from you all. You didn't even notice it, but I did. I took a break from the rigorous schedule of recording phenomenal thought leaders from around the world. Listen, today, we are not going to do anything less. We have an amazing guest that is backstage waiting to empower us around the theme of building dreams. And our guest is going to provide us strategies that are sustainable for our growth as entrepreneurs, as women, as leaders, and just as a phenomenal individual. Today, we are talking with an individual who is so inspiring, and she has redefined success and fulfillment for entrepreneurs everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited to introduce you to a phenomenal woman, Miss Kasey D'Amato. Kasey, we welcome you to Mindset Mastery Moments.
Hi, thank you for having me.
We're excited to have you, but before we get into the juicy details of all the wonderful things you're going to help us learn and grow and glow from today, I have to tell our guests a little bit about you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, Kasey is a former pharmaceutical sales expert and a board-certified dermatologist. Listen, PA, who has taken her business she's taken business in general by storm. After launching an aesthetic division for dermatology practice, she went on to create a global skincare brand. And listen, we have a scientist here too, right? And she's developed an online coaching and consulting business, which she later divided into 2 successful companies. I'm ready to learn. Not stopping there, Kasey has built a multiple 7-figure real estate portfolio. Y'all know I'm talking to someone that is right up my alley. Not stopping there either. She didn't just build this in the United States. She is doing this all while maintaining a happy marriage. And Dr. Whyte's trigger word, traveling. She's traveling the world with her husband. Kasey's journey has been without challenges. She has faced significant setbacks with her emotional health and business hurdles. Of course, she's a superwoman, but through it all, she has gained profound insights. Yes, so that you and I could learn into what it takes to build a thriving business while maintaining balance in her life. Her mission is to impact 1 million entrepreneurs and high achievers by providing easy to implement mindset strategies that will help their business maintain its longevity, effectiveness, and impact with a clear path and a roadmap that aligns business or life with intentionality. Today, we're going to dive into some of Kasey's key principles and practices that will include strategies for sustainable growth, unleashing the power of female entrepreneurship, and overcoming the corporate plateau that a lot of us hit at time. I have been there, and transforming your business, your dreams into strategic focus. Kasey, what you have done is amazing, and we're so honored that you're here to share your journey with us and also help us to just boss up as women. So listen, we welcome everyone. Every entrepreneur is welcome. We know you will benefit, but I know she's going to drop some unique gems for ladies like myself. Kasey, welcome again to Mindset Mastery Moments.
Thank you. And thank you for that wonderful introduction. Thank you so much.
I know I have to tell a little bit about you, right? But
Yes.
Here's the thing, in your own words, tell us who you are and what you do, because I mean, it's nonstop, right? But how do you describe yourself?
Yeah, it's nonstop. So I'm a business strategist and executive life coach. So I combined my experience in business. I've been a part of growing 5 businesses, 3 of my own. One is at an exit. And I combine that with my healthcare background, as well as being a certified life coach, in addition to my medical training. And I put that all together, and I help people grow their business, scale their business while having a balanced life. So I love what I do. I have 2 coaching consulting businesses, like you mentioned, but
Yeah.
my core passion is helping business owners, especially women, really level up and think bigger and lead better and be able to grow without fear and understand that we've all been there. We've all gone through it. You're not alone. You don't have to do it alone, and you can reach that dream life. It's all about the vision and just one foot in front of the other.
One foot in front of the other, indeed. I love it. And so let me ask you this. As I shared in your journey, you went from pharmaceutical sales and also a board certified dermatologist, PA,
Yes.
and moved into I can see you moving into entrepreneurship to begin with, because you had your own practice, right?
I owned my own practice. I was a part of a practice. Yep. So out of the 5 businesses that I was a part of growing, the 2 that I grew that were not my own, one was the pharmaceutical company. It was a brand new startup. It wasn't a big fancy pharmaceutical company the way we think of them. It was a brand new startup company for wholesale of pharmaceuticals here in Miami. And I launched their local division here, and I grew that by multi-6 figures in less than a year, almost to 7 figures, and then went on to expand and grow the Southern California market. That was my first experience in sales and in understanding business. And then I really decided that my passion was helping people. Sales is fun, and understanding that world of wholesale pharmaceutical sales was really enlightening, how it all worked behind the scenes, but my passion was servicing others. And so that's when I became a dermatology PA, and I worked alongside 4 physicians and myself. I was number 5, but I launched the aesthetic division. So I didn't own the whole practice, but my baby was sort of my first experience as what I call an intrapreneur, right? Growing a kind of micro business inside of a
larger business. I love that.
Yes.
That is unique. And so with someone listening, I hope you guys are catching. I just taught this on campus today. I said that the way I think when working, you go in, you get a job, they hire you, they determine what pay you're going to make, is that I still going with an entrepreneurial mindset.
Yes.
And Dave Ramsey talks about this a lot. And so when you go in with that entrepreneurial mindset, you start learning from a different angle. So what truly inspired you now to start your own skincare brand? And what were some of those initial challenges that you faced?
Yes. Oh my gosh, so many challenges. So I've been practicing dermatology for probably about 7 years when I got involved with managing the practice. So I launched the aesthetic division. I had grown that business close to 7 figures a year. So over that period of time, I had generated, well over, 5 million for that business. And I decided, okay, I think I'm ready to spread my wings and start my own business. And I actually started my first coaching consulting business back then for medical providers. I still have that business now. And very soon after that, launched the skincare business. And the skincare, I was, very passionate about it. It's still on the market today. So it's been, 15 years later. It's the first natural and medical grade skincare. So I was very passionate about bringing this product to life because my vision was to develop something that was natural and dispensed by physicians. Right. So I started, like many people do, in my home in Calabasas, California, where I lived at the time, and working on formulations. And I worked with a local formulator, and we started manufacturing and testing the products on friends and family, things like that, right? And then we hit this roadblock in the beauty industry, right? You need a lot of money to market, to break. Yes.
Yes.
So at that point, we started raising some capital, and we started testing. We started testing, selling through physician offices, and putting sales force in the field. And that proved to be very successful in that people love the products. But from a business model standpoint, it was very expensive. We were paying for lots of products and people to have, company cars and things like that. So it was very expensive from a business model. The product was highly successful. We were getting amazing reviews,
Right.
top surgeons recommending the product.
Head.
Yes,
Overhead.
and we were getting all this press and all these accolades and celebrities using the products, but the business itself, the business model, it was extremely expensive to do that. So at that point, we were really kind of trying to find the right place in the market. And so we had pivoted to online. We were distributed through Dermstore and all these amazing places. And then the pandemic hit, and we were getting ready to prepare for another round of fundraising. Things outside of our control. We ended up exiting that business a little bit earlier than we would have wanted.
Yeah.
But the biggest takeaway along that journey was there was a point in time before the exit that I was growing that business and navigating it with shareholders and getting great response from the product, but yet we were burning cash. We were not able to get the model sustainable, even though the product was highly successful.
Right.
And so we were struggling trying to figure that out. And at the same time, practicing clinically, at the same time, having the other coaching consulting business. And this is when the overwhelm, the burnout, the anxiety, the panic attacks, the lack of sleep, and I think the dark side of entrepreneurship that people don't talk about that can take you down in these times of, okay, this one business is not doing well, the other business is doing very well. Emotionally, how am I handling this? We need to put more money in capital, and there's a lot of emotions around that. We've got lots of people we know invested in the one business, but people are relying on me for the other business, right? And as women, and this is why I'm so passionate about helping women, we take on everything at once, and we do it at the jeopardy of our own health. And we don't feel we're in it.
About it. Oh my goodness. You hit the nail on the hammer and I say collectively all of us, because I am included. And if you're doing, we do that just being a woman. And when you put entrepreneurship, that's a whole nother beast, I would say, which I am so grateful for. Obviously, we have it within us, right? But that leads me to a question that when I looked at everything that you've journeyed through, that pops up in a head. How on earth did you then, or what did you started to tell what I learned about that burnout? How did you learn about creating balance? What did you learn? And how do we really, because I would not, the honest truth, there's Mindset Mastery Moments, the podcast, then there's my coaching, there's my speaking. But then there's also the movement Mindset Mastery 360. Then there is my work I do in the corporate world as, a trainer. And so, your girl does a lot. And I manage very well. But I'm in a season where I would say there is no balance. Because I'm in a season where balance looks like, for me, getting all this stuff done, lined up, and then releasing to people just releasing it all together. I've figured out releasing what doesn't serve me. And I would love for you to talk about that. But how do you do this? How did you figure it out? What did that look like then when you're in that space of burnout? And how did that catapult you into the awareness and the function that you're in now? Because you're doing the thing I love, working and traveling with the hubby. That's my life.
Yes. So now I can teach. I have so many tools, so we can buckle up. And I want to share with everybody so that we can. So in those times when there's so many things going on, we can crumble if we don't become aware of it. And so I always commend people, like yourself, when you're juggling all the things and then you say, I'm not balanced right now. I don't know if I have a handle of all of these things. I don't know what I should take off my plate. And so I have a whole library of tools, but let's start breaking it down.
Yeah.
The time blocking, of course, is critical.
Yes.
But what's even more critical than time blocking, so if you're not time blocking, start time blocking everybody.
That's what I do. Yeah, that's why I say balance. For what anyone looks at me, they think you're doing so much of one thing, but that's how I'm balancing
Yes.
my health and well-being and getting this work done. And I know I have about 6 months of it, but that's what it looks like, and it's time blocked.
It has to be time blocked, your week's time blocked, your day's time blocked. So it's the same thing in chunks of time. So you're not trying to don't multitask. Time block your days. Your calendar should be like color coded and blocked so that you're doing that task, you're finishing it. Yes. Then the next one, and you're not getting interrupted. Don't multitask. Don't be doing a million windows opening or texting or somebody, like they don't get your attention until that time block happens. So it doesn't matter who it is, they wait, that message waits until that time block, and then you respond to that text or email or whatever it is that's related to that time block. So for you, like your podcast or, you're speaking or your different things, when you're in that mindset, that's when all those...
That's it. I'm so present with you. I love, and I hope you guys hear, everyone listening, it's Kasey D'Amato approved that I don't answer your call right away. Right. And I don't come back for hours or sometimes the next day because you're not in that block.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that's just how it works in an entrepreneur's life.
That's how it works.
Approved by a professional. I didn't make it up.
That's right. Boundaries and time blocking is critical. Yes. And the second is, when it comes to leadership, I have 4 pillars of leadership. And this is what I really thought about in those dark times. I thought about, okay, out of the 5 businesses that are doing extremely well, what is it about those businesses that are doing well from the business acumen standpoint, meaning the cash flow and the model? And out of the 5 businesses, 2 of them, I was an entrepreneur growing for somebody else. 3, I owned myself. So I was also studying the other business owners, but essentially my partners, and I'm looking at them and thinking, okay, what are they doing? What are the tools? And so the business acumen part, there's a couple pieces of this puzzle that are really critical, which is what is the end goal for each of the ventures that you are involved in? What is the purpose of this venture? So if you're doing 3 or 4 different things, what is the end goal? For my skincare venture, I always had a 10-year. It was always a 10-year and then a plan to exit. That was the plan from day one. So we always had a time frame on that end goal. It ended up happening in the pandemic and not exactly the way that we wanted, but that was the plan from day one. We knew exactly, we were trying to push it as hard as we could and exit it in 10 years. Right. It was for a season. So everything that you're doing, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a business, whether it's real estate, doesn't matter. Every single piece of energy that's going into your business, why? What do you want as an outcome from this time and energy? Always start with the end in mind. Most people skip it.
Love that. She said, besides knowing the why, and give it a time frame, because nothing is like, especially for an entrepreneur, nothing lasts forever. But if you don't have a preset goal of what you're hoping to achieve and the time frame, now the time frame may be adjustable, right?
Yes.
But it's still a smart goal. And a lot of us don't treat things like that. It's like, I love that my partner's been asking me, what is your goal for the podcast? You've done a year, which is not a lot of people make it past 4 episodes.
You're right.
right. This is grew and it maintained top 1%, maintained top 100. We're grateful. But I love that his question has been, what is your goal now?
The goal.
Right?
What is the
because
goal?
My goal was originally just to get my message and my content out there.
Yes.
And then it became over time, by the first half of the first season, I get to meet and have conversation with you all, which I felt like went bigger than I intended to, but not as much as I did. But being in that space, I have a platform that allows, right? So that why in that time frame, I haven't heard the time frame. Make sure time brown. This is people who are doing real business.
Real business.
Good. What else you got? I'm like in a master class here with you.
Exactly.
There's the one thing I didn't think of. Like, I know with the movement, we said 5 years. So you guys are watching her life coach me. Am I not a hugger? 5 years to get to this pinnacle and release. And then what? Does the movement end? I didn't determine that.
Right.
But our mission will be accomplished. Like you said, 1 million entrepreneurs. We have 1 million mindsets to transform. And then
Right.
you do that, and then what? Is that the end? In my mind, I think that was it.
Okay.
That's how I
And
planned
maybe
it.
it is.
Unless
Maybe it
other, it takes a body of its own, and other people want to do it. I'm giving it 5.
Yes. Yes. Because there's only 3 options at the end, by the way, everybody. There's only 3 options. You're either
Okay.
going to sell something and monetize it in some way. You're going to pass it down as a legacy to a family, a friend, a colleague, a partner, or you're going to retire it, wind it down, shut it down, and it served its season, but now it's no longer going to exist. So the end of the road is always 3 doors. It's either we're going to exit or sell this project. We're going to sell it to somebody. We're going to monetize it in some way at this point in time. We're going to pass it off, hand it off gently, and maybe there'll be a revenue share, or maybe it's just a hand down to a child or something, or a partner, or we're going to wind it down. There's only 3 options at the end of the road.
I
That's
love
it.
it. And I love that you say that. And I'm using me as an example. With the movement, I intend to hand it down.
There you go.
To the youth, and let them
Yes.
continue to I'm allowing them to co-create with me the vision that is clear. But
Perfect.
as we go, it becomes theirs. It's a space for them, the next generation of leaders around the globe. And there's so many pieces and arms of it. But then I get to step away and just focus on training and speaking. That's the
Perfect.
goal. 5 years. So
Now you know. There you
good. So you all, I'm being her muse here, and it's very practical what she's saying, because if you don't, and that's again, when I rolled the vision out, everyone knew this is a 5-year, and these are the activities and hurdles we needed to go cross every year. And we monitor the goal. We have an M&E department that's built again that measures that now, and everyone who's working, it's so fantastic, fantastic. But that piece that you said, it's like I didn't know that was a thing, but I knew it. I did it instinctively.
Right.
5 years. So you're saying that's something you're specific about, but what you've given me here is, what's the exit plan? Are you going to sell it? Are you going to shut it down altogether? Are you going to pass it off? What is the profitability? Profitability. Now, question I have for you on that, is profitability always money, or is it money? And because you have to have money to run things, but is it about also impact as well? Is that one of the
1,000%? Yes, 1,000%. It could be profit. It could be impact, which is also can be interchanged with legacy, right? So we're making an impact on a community of people, which is essentially leaving our legacy. It's leaving our footprint on this world in making it a better place, hopefully. So, we have the profit to pay attention to if we're scaling a business, but if we're doing something that's a passion project and we're sharing a message, it may be the impact and the legacy that is the driving force, because we all want to contribute in some way to humankind. It's one of the 6 human needs from a philosopher named Jim Rohn, is contribution. We all want to contribute. It feels good to pay it forward.
Yes, absolutely. So question, you mentioned that quote, and I have to pin there because someone's asking. I find when I ask anyone, child, adult, senior adult, I say, I want to do something that helps people. That's generally what we all say. And then I'm like, because I would do a lot of work on connecting with true value, core beliefs, and purpose so you can get in your career. And so you have not met anyone who did not want to help people. So obviously that's why. As an entrepreneur, how do we collectively or individually determine when we get to that point where we know we want to help people? Because it's human need. No one's ever said they want to do something that didn't ultimately either help their family, their legacy, or the world at large. And still, even then, they want to impact, right?
Yes.
How do we pin down how we're going to do that in our business and in our work?
Yes. Hopefully that's part of your mission. Hopefully your mission is to elevate your community, to help your community. Hopefully your service or your product or what you're doing is directly tied to helping and serving your community. And hopefully you're basically trading, right? You're elevating your community, and in turn, they're paying you for your time, for your expertise, for your skill or for your product that is making their life better.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, like, don't be afraid to monetize your skill set, because your value to other people is much greater than you realize it is. And you don't be shy about that. You don't have to be ashamed about that. And if your passion is more in the nonprofit space, that's phenomenal. Start a nonprofit, put your energy there, but that is a separate project than your business. They can be separate.
Exactly. Yeah. And I absolutely did that. I started my business a long time ago, and what I've done is fold parts of my business into nonprofit.
Right.
So, because the business takes care of the nonprofit at the beginning.
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
So tell us, what else are those things that helps us stay in balance that you've learned in your journey?
So in balance, when we're thinking about, the time, but beyond time blocking, another thing that is really critical is intentional escapes, I call them. So when we're thinking about what I call self-leadership, which is kind of falls in that mindset category, there's 4 pillars that I focus on. And the acronym is VIBE, V-I-B-E. Number 1 is your vision. So do you know you're going? This has to do with your end goal. Are we creating, is this path leading us to the ultimate vision for your business, for your personal life? Do we have a clear vision on, like, if you won the lottery, if money wasn't an issue at all the time in the world, are we on track for that vision of what life would be like with money and time were not a concern, and you had a clear picture of how you would spend your day? Are you on track for that? That's the vision. Is it laser clear? The second is having those intentional boundaries on your time. So that's your time blocking, the boundaries, knowing who to say yes and who to say no to. Start saying no more often than yes, and giving your one primary focus of that time block 100% focus without the multitasking. The second one, the B, is building resilience and being prepared for overcoming failure and overcoming the challenges that require you to be more resourceful than you thought possible, because it is doable. Anything is doable. If you put your mind to it, there always is a person. It's never what to do, right? The answer is always in a who. It's always who is the person that you need to reach out to. A coach, a mentor, a collaborator or peer, or a team member. 3 level of who's. So the B is building that resilience, that failure is a privilege in business and fear is in our mind. The answer is in the who. Yeah.
I love that.
Yes. Yes. And the E in VIBE is evolve and change. And so you're stepping and you're doing 20% of your activities on your calendar different every 90 days. And I challenge everybody, if you want your life to be different, your business to be different, every 90 days, change 20% of your calendar. And looking for that balance, part of changing your calendar, coming back to your question, is finding that balance is, do you have intentional escapes on there? Do you have date nights with your significant other? Or my husband and I travel twice a year, minimum, outside the country, and we disconnect from all screens, technology, and we are off the grid. And so we do that a couple times a year at a minimum to reset. And people think, how do I step away from my business, my responsibilities, my family, all these things? Just do it. You just do. You get on the plane and you go.
Yes.
And you come back refreshed and supercharged for your business and your family and your passion projects and your nonprofits and all these things. Your energy is completely reinvigorated. So to not go away, you're holding back all of those things to step out, especially in a different culture where your brain is stimulated to speak another language, to eat different foods, to get on transportation in a different way than we do here in the US. And all of a sudden, everything in day-to-day goes away because you have to focus on, how am I going to communicate in this language? I don't speak French or Italian or whatever. You're thinking about just getting through the day.
Exactly.
Your brain is
survival
about something else. Yes. So those intentional resets, intentional escapes, I call them. So whether it's a weekly date night, whether you're going to once a month, I recommend a staycation, meaning you're not getting on a plane necessarily, but you're going to a new park. You're going to a new...
in my new bed.
Yes.
But I have to get
A new experience. Yes, a new experience once a month.
Yeah.
So to stay in balance, you have to step out of your day-to-day. You have to step out and then step back in. So whether it's a micro, weekly, date night, whether it's a monthly staycation, or whether it is a biannual, big trip, step out and then with intention and come back. And that will change the game with boundaries.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hi, this is Chris Bierling, host of the People and Performance Podcast. Each episode features conversations Bill Banham and I have with leaders and consultants about ways they've inspired colleagues to thrive. Past People and Performance Podcast guests are from such brands as NASA, IBM, Rolls-Royce, and McKinsey & Co. You can find us on your podcast player of choice.
Oh my goodness, that is life-changing. Listen, guys, make sure you're doing your vibe check.
Your vibe.
I love it. I love the vibe. That's a mantra. It's definitely something that I can see how that is. I am definitely not doing a great job of all of it, and I will now. I am held accountable for my knowledge that I have now.
Yes.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, guys, if you take any more, you're going to have to pay her, okay? So incredible. Let's talk about strategies for sustainable growth. What are some of the key strategies you recommend for entrepreneurs looking to grow their business in a sustainable way?
Yes. So growth, we have two areas to think about growth. We've got your marketing and your sales funnel, right? I have a 5-step growth sheet that you are happy to gift to your audience, to your community.
Yes, we have a link for it. Yeah.
Sheet. So your marketing and sales, and the second one is your team and your systems. And that is your answer to growth. If you understand the 5 steps of marketing and sales and how you build that engine, and you understand how to build the team beneath you to support and execute on that incoming activity, those incoming leads that are being converted and want to work with you, but it can't just be all on you, right? You need your team to help implement. Those are the 2 areas. So for sustainable growth, the 5 steps of the marketing and sales, and the critical piece of this is that you're monitoring your numbers from each step. You're monitoring how many people come in at each one of these stages. And this is how you can insulate your business in any economy, because if you're looking at your numbers either weekly or monthly, you can make adjustments and you can protect your business from getting into trouble. So those 5 steps are awareness. How are people learning about you? I recommend 5 to 10 different awareness activities that are both online and offline. Wow. Some are paid, you're costing a little money, and some are organic. 5 to 10 awareness activities at any time. And you're tracking the leads, the people that are starting to come to you after you're executing on these awareness. So this could be things from organic social media. This could be speaking. This could be writing articles. This could be networking events. If you don't
podcast,
yes, a podcast technically falls in step 2, which is your trust building. Right. Because once people hear about you with awareness, 5 to 10 activities of awareness, your next step is building trust. And there's only about 3 ways that you can build trust. One is you're speaking to someone, podcasting, speaking at an event, you're teaching something in longer form content, or you might be writing like a longer form article of something. You're showing your knowledge base at a deep level, some kind of longer form. So first is the awareness, 5 to 10. The next is the trust. And there's only like 3 or 4 ways that you can educate people in a way that they believe that you are the expert in your field, because of course you are. And so you're building that trust there. The next step is the acquisition, which is how much contact information are you getting from each of the awareness and trust building activities? So how many people are coming into your ecosystem with an email or phone number? Those are the 2 ways that you're getting. Are they calling you, filling out a contact form? How are you getting their contact information? And that brings us to conversion. That's the sale. That's where marketing stops and sales starts. Yes. So the marketing is those first 3, which is your awareness, 5 to 10 activities mixed between online, offline, some paid, some organic. then your trust. You're looking at how many activities, awareness, then you're doing your trust. Those kind of go together. Then you're looking at your acquisition. How many contacts, phone numbers or email addresses are you getting from those marketing efforts? From there, your marketing hat comes off and your sales hat comes on. Now you have how many leads coming in? Let's say 100 people, 100 contacts. Now, what's your conversion process? Are you a digital entrepreneur where you have a landing page or you have email nurtures, right? This is where the sales language starts, and sales psychology in the online space. Or maybe you're a brick and mortar business and you're having a consultation with somebody, right, or a discovery session or a strategy session. And this is when you're building that additional level of trust. You're asking those questions. You're seeing if you're a right fit, if you can really solve the problem for your community. And then you're inviting them to work with you without being aggressively salesy or slimy or anything like that. You're just finding out what they need, sharing what you have to offer, seeing if there's an alignment, and inviting them. And that's the conversion step. Yeah. So that brings us to 4. And the last step is retention. And this is what a lot of people miss out, is once we've done all the hard work from marketing, the sales conversation has happened. Now the person has worked with you. Phenomenal. That's fantastic. Now what's the retention? How do we continue to serve this person in a way they're continuing to get value? They want to keep working with us. That is how you scale your business. And if you're monitoring your numbers from each of those steps on a monthly, I look at mine almost weekly for my team reports to me. We're always looking at what are we doing for awareness? If business is slow, we need to get more visibility, more awareness. Are we doing the right things that are getting trust to get, people contacting us, reaching out to learn more? And then are we having the right dialogue with them? Yes. Is it the right people coming to us that need our service and want to work with us? And then the conversion, and then are we keeping them, are we continuing to serve them in a way that makes them want to work with us for a long time? And that's the machine. That's the marketing and sales machine that will keep your business healthy. If you're looking at those numbers all the time, you know exactly where you want to adjust, tweak, and dial in so that you can continue to grow.
Wow. Kasey, that's fire. I can see it. My little bit of knowledge sees it, and you laid it out so eloquently and so quickly. We can tell that you know your stuff. So I am not afraid to say, and I'm sitting here for those who listen to podcasts, she's not reading something off of a paper. This is coming from her bloodline. It's just flowing through her veins. So I love seeing when someone really knows their stuff. I can tell it's tested, tried, and proved to work for you and your clients. And we know there's some raving and beautiful reviews from people that have worked with you. So I'm excited for us to talk about how do we connect. And I know we have that little freebie for those who listen all the way to the end. They know exactly how to get it. So we're going to play flip the script a little bit with you and pick your brain on what has happened with your mindset. Your journey. We've known that that's definitely been, I can hear that you've shifted a lot coming from your work and being an intrapreneur to an entrepreneur. And sort of, I would say, I think you balance both at the same time. So can you share a specific challenge you faced that require you to flip the script of your mindset anywhere in your journey as an entrepreneur or else? Oh my gosh.
Yes. So I think, going back to that time of the overwhelm or failures, like, the micro failures or the bigger failures. And, I think the flipping of the switch for me was emotional intelligence. And I think recognizing my own emotions were getting in the way. And so now I have a distinctive process, whether it is a team member that, puts in notice at not a good time, or, whether there is challenges with a client, or whether there is, legal issues, or, who knows, you name it. I have a real estate portfolio, whether there's challenges with tenants or real estate management, right? That I have a process now that I think about. I used to let these things really bother me. I couldn't sleep at night, and I would be, just completely derailed when something happened, and I would be like, what am I going to do? Now I think about on a scale of 1 to 10, is this an earth shattering, or is this a annoyance? But if I put my mind to it, I can overcome this. And I compartmentalize, how big. And the reality is very few things are the end of the world. They feel like they are at the moment. really
And the only
not.
thing based on how much value you give to it, really. Yeah.
Yes, and with the team, when team turns over, every single time that's happened, I always on the other side find somebody so much more qualified. So the team situation I've learned, it's always for the best. When the team,
Yes.
when somebody leaves, it's like, you know what, then they didn't want to be here. They didn't
The
believe in the
time is
vision.
up. Yeah. Season of reason,
Yes.
lifetime.
Yes. So now that with the emotions, I very much recognize the emotion. I label how is this a serious situation that is going to I'm going to allow it to upset me emotionally, or is this something that I'm going to say, I call it mosquitoes, or do I say this is a mosquito situation? Like this is annoying. I wish it didn't happen. But you know what? I'm just going to squash it quickly, either tomorrow morning and I'm going to move on. I'm not going to let this bother me because in the scheme of the whole business model or what I have going on,
This
this
is
is a mosquito.
literally a mosquito. And it's funny because so many things are mosquitoes. They come and they sting and then they leave a little bump, like sometimes for
Yes.
some of us, but it doesn't last forever. In about
Doesn't last
24 to
forever.
48 hours, all
Yes.
gone. So
All
I
gone.
love that approach, and that's a real mindset flip. Like, how am I really looking at this, right? How am
Yes.
I truly looking at this? So, what does success mean for you today?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I'm a service provider at heart. Out of the 5 businesses that I've helped grown, 3 of them are service-based, and I'm so much more passionate when I'm serving others. So success for me is continuing to empower entrepreneurs. Success for me is, impacting a community of people that maybe thought they couldn't do it. I'm from a very small town. I didn't have any business background. I don't have a business degree. And so to empower people and change people's lives, that is success for me. If I can change people's lives and empower them to think bigger and think in a way like it's not as hard as it seems, or it's not as hard as I'm making out to be. And more importantly, if I can help people recognize that it's themselves, they are the ones holding themselves back, because once that light bulb goes off, that it's all in your mind,
Yes.
then like a whole new path unfolds right in front of your eyes. And those are the massive breakthroughs that are the most fun. So if I could help somebody every day have a breakthrough like that, where all of a sudden the light bulb went off and they said, this is mindset shift. Holy smokes, I'm holding myself back by being afraid to hire a team or fire a team, or by being afraid to understand numbers and cash flow and business acumen, or, being afraid to think about the exit. I don't know what my exit should be. Like, it's okay. You don't have to know everything at once. We are all start there.
Yes.
Just one day at a time, just keep going and think bigger. Like if we can do it, if I can do it, you can do it, multi 7 figures, 8 figures and beyond, you can do it, or bigger. I mean, the sky's the limit. There's nothing holding you back.
That's so phenomenal. Success. Oh, I love the definition of success. Here, before we go into Mindset Bicycle, I have to ask you for a question that you would love to propose to our next guest that I interview after you. It's a game I play every now and then.
Oh,
if you
that's
had to ask them a question. What would your pass on be?
Oh, I love it. Okay, a mindset question. Ooh. Oh my gosh, you're putting me on the spot on this one. A question for your next guest.
It didn't even have to be about mindset. It could be about anything. Leadership.
About anything.
Anything in the world. It could be silly. It could be...
I know.
It could be anything.
That's such a great question. What would I ask the next guest? I think I would ask the next guest something similar. The next guest would be, what is it about your journey that makes you want to share it with the world, that makes you want to take the time to be a guest on podcasts? What is it about your journey, whether it's a pain point or whether it's a success point? What is it about the journey that makes you want to share?
Oh, I love that. And so I have the last guest's question for you. Last one I was given.
Oh, okay.
How do you face the mountains in your life? I think we kind of know, but that was the question. How do you face the mountains in your life?
Yes, facing the mountains. This one is actually easy. This one I learned along the journeys. Those three level of who's have your answer. And so just to repeat this, no matter how big the challenge is, when you are stuck, when you're at the bottom of the bottom and you are in the dark time and alone and you cannot figure out, or you're spiraling, or you're like, I just don't know what direction to go. I've got all these options. The answer's in the three level of who's. At least three people that you know that are coaches and mentors, people that have more life experience or business experience than you, at least three. So you're getting a little different perspective. At least three people that are peers or collaborators. They're at a similar stage of business. They're kind of going through things together that you can share resources. They're going through it. And then people that are supporting you, whether that is family, friends, team members, surrounding yourself with a three level of who's, minimum of three people who are coaches and mentors with more life or more business experience, and a minimum of three people that are peers and collaborators, and then your support system, family, friends, and team. If you have three levels of who's, you are insulated to overcome any challenge.
Oh, that is solid advice. Solid advice. And I know you've mentioned it twice, so it has to be try, test, and prove it for you.
Yes.
What a way to face mountains. Kasey, listen, I can't believe the time went by so quickly. We're at that segment that we call Mindset Advice to Go. It's where I step away from the screen and the microphone, and I just give you a screen to share with our listeners and viewers. If you had your last 90 seconds or 3 minutes that you had something to say to the world, what would that be? I mean, just speaking from your heart, it doesn't really matter. You could speak specifically to women, to entrepreneurs, whoever you feel like, wherever you're led to go. And I will step away and give you the microphone.
Okay, awesome. So my message would be, if you are dreaming of something bigger and you know you're meant for more, today is the day, and all it takes is making the decision. If you know in your heart that you're meant for more, you believe it in your core, you're not exactly sure how you're going to get there, you're not exactly sure what you're going to do, I encourage you to just make the decision today that you are going to be different tomorrow. There's going to be one phone call that you're going to make to one person that could connect the dots for you, that could start to make this new path come to life. So if this is you and you want your life to be different or your business to be different, all you have to do is to decide today that you are going to be different. You're going to operate 20% of your schedule a little differently, and you're going to make a phone call tomorrow to one person that could start to open up the path to the new 2.0 version of you.
Wow, so amazing. Oh my goodness. Kasey, thank you so much for that. That just stirred me up a little bit because I had my brain going, who can I call? I get so involved.
One phone call.
Listen, I know you have a wonderful freebie that you want to share with us. If you can tell us about that and how we can use it, and then how do we connect with you? And of course, you all know we're going to have it in the bio wherever you're listening, in the description, wherever you're listening or watching this episode.
Yes, you can connect with me on Instagram or LinkedIn at Kasey D'Amato. I would love to connect. Shoot me a DM. I answer my own DMs. If it's a team member, they will introduce themselves so you'll know, but most of the time I answer my own. So please connect Instagram or LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, but not as much. Right. And for free tools, I definitely want to send you the links. I think that our business growth cheat sheet would be phenomenal for your community. I also have a time blocking tool. So I think both of those, we can send you links to both. Wow. I think both of those would be great for your community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And so, guys, I want you to reach out and let her know you heard her on the podcast. This is a lot of work. We're actually recording this at a pretty late time for Kasey. So we want you to let her know. We have a community and a tribe that is on the podcast. We're like, who do we have? It's like a master class. Like, we in our WhatsApp group in the movement, like they're sitting there just typing everything as they listen. I'm like, you guys are blowing up my phone. I'm going to silence you. But sometimes it gets so riveting. So I just know I want you guys to make sure to reach out to her and let her know that it's been such an uplift for you and like a shift in your own mindset. as an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur. And I love that you mentioned that, because that is so important. Even while you work in someone else's business or you work in someone else's company, no matter how large or small, if you have an entrepreneurial mindset, you're on the verge of creating your own business and your own thing. And listen, what you're willing to do for others, the universe will always open up for you when it's your time for you to do for yourself. So, Kasey, thank you so much for joining us today and for making this episode such an insightful one. And for everyone, be sure to check out Kasey's website. It's KaseyD'Amato.com. It's so beautiful. She has a beautiful website. I enjoyed going through it, and get those free resources in the link and let her know that you got it. So if you found this valuable, please like, follow, and subscribe to Mindset Mastery Moments. And until next time, keep mastering your mindset and keep turning your dreams into reality. And you know, we've got Kasey now, and she can help you anytime you need it. Kasey,
Yes.
thanks again, and bye now.
Bye.